Healing crystals, skincare routines, knitting a sweater, fitting in jeans. With Katie and Sarah, no need to worry, you're on a lady journey.
Oh, Lady Journey.
Welcome to Lady Journey, everybody. We're just coming out of a spiral. We're up, we're down, we're back up. We are back
And
up.
we hold each other up every day.
We do, and I am so grateful for the wonderful people that have joined our Patreon. So I want to do an incredible stone dedication to...
Yeah, I just want to also tell everyone that contributes to the Patreon, I feel like Katie and I are really great about reinvesting it. So we put it back into for you guys.
We put it back into doing tons of fun stuff for the podcast, and we're so grateful. We have $5, $10, $20 tier. Please check it out. And if you want to just throw in like $1 and say, hey, coffee's on us. Okay.
We will take it.
Okay, daddy or mommy.
You know what I was thinking about?
Non-gendered parent.
If my parents truly loved me, they would be supporting my Patreon.
Well,
I love that.
yeah.
You brought that up last
Yeah.
week. Not that your parents don't support you, but we were like, yeah, it is weird that parents aren't on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So mom and dad, well,
Get
my
on
mom and dad do listen, and I thank you. And I hope you did not listen to the last episode. I hope you just skip through to this one, which is a safe space about friendship. But I do want to do the stone dedication.
Yes.
Now, okay.
People love it. People,
They really enjoy it.
you know, I think it's because we personally reach out and we hold your hand and give you a hug.
We embrace you into this group, this community, which is not a cult yet.
That's our goal
That's
is to get
$100
there.
tier.
Yeah.
That is the $100 tier. But this is a stone. How gorgeous is this?
I love geos.
This is a gorgeous geode that my aunt gave to me, and she actually has the other half of it. And
Did she find it naturally?
I think she did. I think she found it naturally.
I've always wanted to find them, and I heard people are like, see right here, and then they take a hammer, and then there it is. And I've taken hammers to lots of rocks and nothing.
Yeah, I've taken a hammer to anything. Carry my hammer around. Well, one thing, and this is for Lauren, by the way, so I want you to know this beautiful geode is going out to you, Lauren. Thank you so much.
That's a
so
mother load.
Smooth. It's so smooth on the outside, and I use this on my bookshelf. I just use it. It's so smooth, and then on the inside, can you see? It is utterly radiant, and this is you, Lauren. Smooth and brilliant.
Yes.
You're so incredible, and thank you for joining.
It's amazing that this happens inside.
Now, okay, let me tell you something.
Amazing.
This is so Lady Journey. One place I have always been dying to go to is the Herkimer Diamond Mine in upstate New York. You basically go for like, it's like a little day camp or whatever. You could stay in the area, have like a little local dinner, but in the daytime you go, you pay whatever it costs to go in. You take your own little tools, and there's tons of Herkimer diamonds are actually crystals.
I want to do this.
Yeah, and you just
I want
break
to
them
do
open.
this.
You just get to keep a big sack. It's like apple picking for rocks.
I think that should
okay?
be the new bachelorette party idea. Instead
Yes.
of wine tasting,
Oh
you
my
go
gosh. You go
to hammer some
coal.
rocks and
You
a
go
coral.
mine coal. So yeah, Herkimer Diamond Mine. Want to check it out. Always wanted to. Now this is an amazing piece. This is for Scott. Thank you so much for joining.
You know what's interesting about this piece? It's shaped like a fish, and I
Yes.
only see that in jade.
It is a piece of jade. Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah, it is.
It's a
This-
white jade?
I think it's like it is a very light, but I see a little green in it, but it is pretty light.
Yes.
Yeah, it is a piece of jade. Now, my roommate in college, Terry, shout out. I love her. She was such an amazing person. She actually gave this piece of jade to me for my birthday. I think when I turned 19. And she got this when she was doing study abroad. She studied abroad in South Korea, and then she traveled all over Asia. So she gave me this awesome piece. And jade is it's a dreaming stone. Okay, Scott? So I want you to take this tonight, put this right under your little pillow. Okay? And let us know what you see.
I've been having a lot of anxiety dreams lately.
Oh, me too. I had a dream.
It's so fascinating.
What was my dream? Oh, I had a dream. This is my classic stress dream. I dream that I forget my passport.
Yes.
That's such a champagne problem stress dream. I'm like, I can't get to the Caribbean. Well, what will I do? I'll never make the Queen's tea ceremony in London.
That's your anxiety. I know. I just love it. I know Dan Perlman has a joke about dreams that I always love about like, why is it nobody actually really cares about your dream? It's not a satisfying story to the third party.
Yeah.
No, because this is how he knows. No one's ever like, hey, did you hear Sarah's dream the other day?
Yeah, that's a great one.
It is a great one, but it's like, when it happens, you're like, I love that this is the creativity that my brain creates in order to let me know that something's going on right now.
Dreams are fascinating. They truly are.
We should actually do a lady journey about dreams. And I'm surprised that hasn't come up because people actually believe in symbolism of dreams and I actually don't. I just know that I only base them on the feeling that I get from the dream.
Yeah, I do think it's your mind is telling you something.
Yes.
Like remember your passport.
Yes.
So Scott, cheers. Scott and Lauren, cheers to
Cheers.
you. Now, today we're doing a really cool episode. We're revisiting our topic of friends.
Mm-hmm.
We've done this topic a couple times, but I thought it would be fun to, before we bring in our special guest, share a few little stories of friendships that have gone hellaciously wrong.
Hellaciously.
Because we've all had a bad friend. You've all had a bad friend where you, like, people trauma bond right away with you, and you think, oh my God, I have my new best friend and my life has meaning, and we're gonna, me and Carolina, we're gonna go take over the world together. And then there's a moment about 2 months in when you find out everything she's ever told you was a lie.
Yes, there's that. It's funny because it goes in stages. Like in elementary school, I became friends with this girl because my birthday was on the 17th and her birthday was on the 18th of April.
Yeah.
And that was enough. That's all we needed.
That's all you need. Back in the day, you don't need interests.
No.
You don't need political
Just,
similarities.
One day off in the birthday. It's enough for me to be like, that is so rare.
So rare. I mean, how often do you find that in first grade?
No, bonded. But then I felt like our relationship, it soured.
Yeah.
And I think about her because she actually was a really sweet girl, but I think we just had different interests. All of a sudden, I felt like I was going to these born-again Christian revivals and
that'll do it.
writing notes to Jesus and then burying him in the backyard. And then she was like, let's go take a look at our notes and see if we got them. And then she took us to another area and was like, look, he got them. And I was like, this is the different area.
This isn't where I buried my note. This is not my note. I do like the idea of sending magical letters to Jesus. Do you know Jesus? It feels like the person getting those probably Satan because he's down in the ground.
Yes, it's more like we should have thrown him up in the air or shot him out into the sky somehow.
Yeah, or burned it maybe. Although that's pollution. Put it up on a balloon.
Put it up in a balloon for a bird to swallow and die on it, and then decease, and then pollution. It goes into the world.
Well, I had a bad friend once, and this is a friend, again, like I was saying in my funny example, but this is true, a friend that you really have a good bond with, and then you find out, like there is always that moment where you find out that somebody is a pathological liar. And this was a girl that I worked with, and she always had...
Hurtful lies are just like, there's people that are just like, malignant liars, and then there's just kind of benign.
Which is me. I am a benign liar. I'm like... my cousin is a TikTok influencer. We were like, what's her name? I'm like, she's gone. She's gone.
You're like, I didn't think that went through. I didn't know you were going to ask a follow-up question so soon.
My social anxiety. I'm just like, yep.
I've been to Prague once. Yeah. And then you're like, why did I say that?
Bill Gates is my dad. What? But well, she had a variety. Like it started out, it was very benign lies, but it was almost, and this is when you learn about yourself that you're very gullible. Like some of the lies were like, I'm going to Mexico on a trip. It's all expenses paid. Pretty cool. Well, I just wrote an essay and I won a contest. I'm like, man, this shows so much about my own self to me that I'm like, I wish I could write the essay, but I'm too stupid to get the all expense. So it started out as that. Then we noticed a lot of girls' stuff was going missing from the dressing room. People were having money stolen out of their handbags, which is kind of fun in an office context. That's going to be a bad one. But it's fun in the office context because it's like now we get to live a whodunit. This
yes.
is funky and fun.
And then the boss is like, I noticed that we're off our goals this month. And
Yeah.
you're like, well, we have to solve this case first.
Yeah, we're focused on our own space. Money was going missing, and then something happened where she came in with a horrific black eye. And she said, this is when I was working with children, and she said one of the kids kicked up and kicked her in the face, and we just found it to be suspicious.
Yeah, those little legs.
Well, you want to believe
with a soft
people.
head.
Yeah, well, there was no shoes even.
Yeah.
It was like, in the gym, just nothing. And you want to believe, somebody. You wouldn't want to think that someone would make up a lie about being kicked in the face by a child. But
Absolutely. Well, apparently as us humans, we are conditioned to always go on the basis of truth.
yeah, and I think for me personally, if someone is nice to me, I just never question them in any way. I'm like, that's my best friend, I think. I think that's my best friend, and I'll just write them a check.
They need me.
She needs me. She was kicked in the face. So that was, and then they did find out eventually that she was the person who was stealing. A lot of people had I had a Starbucks gift card was stolen. Which, I don't care about it, but that was a interesting.
Well, it's weird to know that somebody's digging through your stuff. I've never dug through my stuff. Even when a friend is like, oh, it's in my purse. You can grab it over there. Just go in there. And I'm like this. I feel weird.
Oh, you feel icky.
Yeah. And just grabbing a pen from their purse. You're like, I'd rather you do it.
Yeah, I don't want to get in there because, you never know. And no judgment. But some people's purses is a little bit messier than others. No judgment. No judgment.
Sharp objects that are in there.
You're in there like, why do you have a protractor? Why do you have this? Well, I did an old-fashioned baby shower one time, and one of my girlfriends really cracked me up because she found old-fashioned baby shower games from the 20s, and one game was
God, that is fun.
it was like
party.
we might try for the cookie party.
Yeah,
it was like put your hand into your neighbor's pocketbook and try to tell what you're feeling without looking at it. And it was like, wow, they really were desperate for. That's when they were all just doing coke, like drinking it in soda. And they're like, this is really fun. We've invented a new game.
I want to know more games from back then.
I'll do that in the bonus. That's going to be a fun one.
That is a fun one.
Now, you were saying you had some fun stories from your early 20s of toxic friendships.
Well, it's not even I'm the toxic friend.
Yes.
Plot twist.
Plot twist. Never saw it coming.
Blame it on the alcoholism, but I have to tell you, in your early 20s, I did some girl code no-nos.
Yeah.
I dated a really good friend. Fortunately, the friendship has lasted and we're still tight. But I dated her ex-boyfriend, and what ended up happening is I was the one that I deserved every bad part of this relationship. It was one of the worst relationships I've ever been in, and I got what I deserved.
Oh, so salacious.
But I did learn a valuable lesson from this. There's no such thing as soulmates. It's not worth ruining any of your girlfriend friendships that you have over a guy. That's why it's like funny later on when adults have like affairs when they're 40 and they're like, this is the one for me. And you're like, no, you did not have to ruin a whole village.
Yeah.
Because you think you're in love.
He works at the bowling alley. No, wait, what were we talking about? I think we were talking about this in one of our bonus episodes where we were reviewing some old rom-coms and we're like, actually, your behavior is reprehensible. Like, 4 weddings and a funeral. It's like, she's a gold digger.
Yeah.
You're an asshole.
Yeah.
And I guess good luck you guys belong together, but you're being celebrated as though you've achieved something great. I watched that movie. I was appalled and laughing, but it was quite fun. Quite fun, and I love the British.
Well, that apparently once a year somebody writes a whole diatribe of how Love Actually is one of the most toxic romantic rom-coms out there.
Ooh, I love that. I love that as an idea.
I know. I have to get it happens at least once a year, but it is fascinating because you're all like rooting for these people, and then when somebody tells you, you're like, oh my God, I'm rooting for the worst people alive.
Yeah, I'm a monster. But we do have this like social myth that's like anything for love.
Anything for love, but you're like, this guy was just like an alcoholic, and
Yeah, and he ran over an old woman. Like, but he was in love, and he was on his way to see his girlfriend before her flight took off, and she was going to Bermuda. He might never have seen her again.
I know. Or the relationship that you see in movies where they're like hot and heavy, like a Pam and Tommy Lee, and then you realize they're just two borderline low IQ people with a drug addiction, and it just fizzles out horrifically.
Yeah, and you're like, that didn't have to happen.
Yes. So I ruined a friendship for a good 6 months because of this. But a lesson learned. Yes. Don't break girl code.
What other girl codes did you break? I'm dying to know.
Well,
now.
that one is, the main one was like, dating someone's ex is just bad mojo.
Yeah, it's awkward too for the group.
It is, and that happens. I think that happens a lot in the 20 friendships. Is that a lot of them end up dating each other, and then it makes for a weird toxic hang.
Well, when you have a friend group, it's really hard to not, like, you're dating one person, and then, especially when you're younger, you're like, wait, I think I like that guy better. Because you just, like...
You overcommit.
Nobody's personality is that developed. Like, I dated a couple guys in the same friend group when I was in high school. And then it was like, then we're all still in the friend group. And it's like, well, I'm just hanging out with 2 of my exes and my boyfriend now.
Yeah, and then your partner is with you and you realize there's 3 people in this group that I've had relations with.
Yeah, that's
why it's weird for him.
Yeah, that's why I do always say, like, you know, it's best to keep not having relationships in comedy, even though I am dating a comedian and so are you. It's like, well,
and
obviously
that's all I've really ever done.
But,
yeah,
but it's
I
hard.
always move to a new scene.
Move to a new scene at the very least. But it is awkward to like show up at a show and you're like, well, my lovers are here. My lovers, this is a lineup of old flames. Now,
yes.
I did date one time when I was in high school. I did date a guy who my friend had a crush on, which I felt like that was a bit of a no-no.
Yeah.
That's kind of a different, but I remember thinking like she had a crush on him and then I kind of got a crush on him and then he and I ended up dating, but I did excuse it as like, well, he and I are like truly
soulmates.
We're soulmates and we paint together.
No.
Who does that?
But you don't know this until later when you grow up and you realize that I don't need to create this drama in my life for a person, a romantic interest.
Yeah, you can create drama with friends in many other ways.
Yes.
Like alcohol, that's a good one.
Exactly. Also, you realize if you didn't create that drama and then later on in life they're still in your life, then maybe it was meant to be, but not 2 weeks in.
No. Yeah, wait it out.
Yeah, wait it out. I guarantee you this crush will do something that you will be like, no.
Especially if he's 20. You're like,
yeah, he'll put some shoes on that you're
you
like.
don't change your underwear.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, no,
you
wear
one pair of underwear.
bedazzled jean pockets, and I only saw you in your waiter outfit.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Where you looked like a business person. Yeah.
I had no idea you had bad taste.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, I do have one fun story. Now, this is a friendship that was some drama that was caused by alcohol. In my case, I went out to stay at my friend's. My friend was staying in an Airbnb all the way out in the North Fork, and I went out and was thinking like, oh, like Hamptons girl, like going out, you know.
Yes.
Even though the North Fork is not the Hamptons, if anyone knows, it is the poor side. It's the poor side of the island. But so I went out, and my friend and I were just drinking all day, but having fun. And then a third friend came in the group. And then when you're drinking, I wouldn't even call this a bender. I would call it like a ladies' bender. You know,
yes.
It's like wine in the afternoon, wine at dinner, waking up, maybe a mimosa, and then a little more wine, you know, just a light bender.
A light binge drinking.
Yes. And I was obviously on Tinder at the time, and I was swiping away, clearly. And I didn't end up inviting some guys over. And then because I was in my drunken state, I just had a suspicion that they had coke. And so I was like, just get it out and let us all do it. You know, just like really being a terror to this poor guy who worked at the rental car place in town and who, by the way, did contact me during COVID. And I wrote back, I'm married, even though that's a lie. Okay, Doug, there's no ring on it.
But
anyway.
you're living as man and wife if you were in
We
Texas.
We are, yes. We're living in sin. But anyway, so my friend and I, my friends, first of all, were annoyed that I was being completely reckless and out of control.
But you don't know until later.
And you don't know until later that
You
that
think
was,
you're being fun.
I thought it was being a fun time. And let me just also say that this was pre-fentanyl. Okay,
Yes.
so this was a time when Coke, you could just do it. You could just do Coke with a rental car employee who came to your Airbnb from a phone app. And his cousin was there also. And I think I was like drunkenly insisting that my friend wingman me, but she was in a relationship and she was like, I'm not going to pretend I'm single. So you can do what exactly? I'm like having a heart to heart with the rental car guy. And then I said, well, her boyfriend I think was moving to LA. And I said, it's not going to last.
I do that too, where I think I'm being funny by being, I'm the truth sayer.
Yes,
I'm just, but you're just a fucking nightmare.
I'm just telling it like it is. And it's like, yeah, well, you didn't need to do that. And so my friend, of course, she's hammered as well. And she is like one of those girls with the Irish temper. And so my friend starts verbally attacking me. And now I feel like the victim. Anyway, long story short, we don't speak. But, you know.
What if that's, you find out, people at home find out that we're awful human beings?
I know we're taking a risk. We're taking a risk right now. And I would like to say, you know, we sometimes at Lady Journey, we do like to be vulnerable and admit that sometimes you are the asshole.
You know, but at least a lot of people don't, they go through life being like, I don't know why all these people are mad at me. I'm living my life. And then you're like,
I was in the right. I was in the right telling her that they would probably break up. Wonder why I wasn't invited to the wedding. Jessica. Yeah, I would like to acknowledge that, you know, at times my drinking has been out of control, which is why I have one glass of wine a fortnight. And yeah, I think that is part of like developing as a person, is being like,
yes.
Everybody is an asshole sometimes, and it's cool to be able to be like, I'm trying to flip it now, like I'm actually a mentor. No, this is good. This is painting me in a good light.
You cannot have growth unless you're a complete piece of shit.
The dark always comes before the dawn. Well, one funny thing about that evening too, I did actually make up to this friend, and I did apologize to her.
An amends.
I made an amends,
Yes.
and I did feel. And
she probably felt validated, and that was nice of you.
Yeah, and I still feel terrible about my behavior. And, you know, when you're drinking also, like, things just escalate in a way that can get ugly, you know.
Oh, you have no idea.
As we all know. Happy holidays, folks. But one thing that was really funny was that, like, the next day I, like, packed angrily and, you know, I was, like, getting all my stuff. And then I got home and I accidentally took her bra. I, like, took her bra with me. And
just one last weirdo move.
I know. It's like that was my fuck you to her. She probably is like, where's my bra, by the way?
Good luck with your tits flailing out there telling me how it is.
Yeah, enjoy the rest of your trip. But yeah, I want to, you know. Sorry. Anyway, we've got a special guest.
Yes.
Moving it all right along.
A very funny comedian friend of the show.
He is doing a one-woman show about friendship. Is that
I love
correct?
he's doing a one-woman show.
Oh.
Anytime, that's what it's called. We just like emasculate him.
A one-man show is a one-woman show. If that makes sense, I think it does.
I think you guys get it. If you're doing a one-man show, you are doing a one-woman show. Yes.
It is a lady journey. Full circle.
If you're like, the people should hear this in a black box theater, that's a lady journey.
And I also would like to say, if you're a non-binary person, if you're doing a one-person show, it's a one-woman show. Okay. Yes. It's always a one-woman show. My life. my life.
Yes.
So we are really thrilled to have him on. Now, the show is about friendship. Is that correct?
Yes, and that's why I love it. I'm like, no, I don't know why we talked about friendship in the beginning of this. Yes, it's all about friendship. Also, I think about like adult friendships because I think they're actually, as we said, quite different than child friendships.
Yes.
But
maturity.
you know what? I have to tell you, making friends as an adult is a different experience, as we found out from a kid. All you
Yes.
need is one shared experience.
Yeah, making adult friends is a different experience because there's a lot of toxic behavior that you need to ferret out to see if you can cope with it as a friend.
Yeah. Am I going to be doing a lot of favors for this person?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, I'm living right now by, don't want to blow up my address. However, I'm living by the Friends Experience in New York City where you can go to experience the show Friends. And I always laugh as I walk past it because it's like, why are we calling it the Friends Experience as though I'm coming in to role play as though others care about me and want me in their life? Like, we should call it like something that doesn't allude to that in any way.
Yes.
How about like Friends, the show? It's a museum of artifacts.
Yes. A TV show that we really loved.
Yeah, it's like not just like, oh, stand in line if you're sad, losers. So we're so excited to have our wonderful friend Gabe Mollica on the show. So we hope you enjoy his interview.
Yeah.
Lady Journey.
Lady Journey.
Gabe, welcome. Welcome to Lady Journey.
It's so nice to be just us girls. This is so nice.
Oh,
I love
Don't you-
this.
Well, anyone
Don't
can be a
you-
lady, Gabe.
I know. Anyone, yes, anyone can be a lady. And don't you love the lady vibes?
It's
Lady
true.
vibes.
It's
are-
easier.
I love
I-
the vibes. I love the vibes of ladies, and I love the vibes of Sarah's background. And I'm feeling a little self-conscious about my own background right now
I blurred mine.
because I'm doing laundry. Peek
Hey,
behind the
whoop.
curtain. If anyone missed the portrait of my boyfriend, it's still there. He is considering taking it down. However, he told me that he's going to put it in the closet.
Or I can get a portrait made of you, Katie, and we'll put it right next to him.
I think that's a good idea. Just a little side-by-side action. So, Gabe, we're so happy to have you. Now, you are working on a one-woman show, as we call it.
Yeah.
And it is about friendship. Is that right? Or is it about the show Friends?
It's honestly, I would sell way more tickets if it were about the show Friends. It's
Yeah.
about the it's a one lady show about how I have these bros, these idiot friends, and then my mom got sick and they didn't know what to do. And it starts with me being like, wait, do I not have friends? Do I not have anybody to talk to? And so I started meditating on that and writing jokes about that. And then there's like a 40-minute love triangle kind of, I used to have a best friend and this is what happened kind of story.
Oh, wow. Did
Wow.
you sleep with I don't want to give a spoiler
Your
away.
mom?
Did you sleep with your mother?
It's a Greek tragedy. It's really pretty good.
Wow. Wow. This sounds great.
Oh, thanks.
Now, so what are something like what do you look for in a friend, like as a quality of a person? Because one thing we've talked about before on this show is when you get into your 30s, as I am, it can be a little hard to develop friendships at this adult stage of life because people have a lot of baggage and, I lash out, and that can make it tough.
Yeah.
Yes. Is this friend going to be a lot of work? Am I going to be taking them to the airport a lot?
Yeah,
Right. I can't handle it. I can't handle it.
yeah, you don't want your needy friends, right? It's nice when you can. At this point, I feel like I meet a lot of people where I'm like, we're vibing. This is great. Let's hang out like once a month. Like I just
Wow.
started talking to like Ismail Lutfi a little bit, and it's like we meet up, we have
Oh.
coffee, we chop it up, but I'm not like texting him every day, like so that's like a thing that I need. For me, I think a lot of the thing I've been thinking about a lot lately is like my idiot friends didn't know what to do when my mom got sick. But once I told them like you guys are idiots, they did kind of like step up in this weird way. And like even though they don't know what to say, they just kind of like they try and they want to be there. And I'm like, oh, that's what I like in a friend. That like even if
Yeah,
they're not
the
perfect,
trying.
yeah, a little effort.
Trying.
They want to, and they're willing to be like, I was wrong. You're right. I didn't handle that well. I'll do it better.
What were they doing that was lacking? Like not reaching out, or if you talked about it, did they skirt the issue?
It was this very manly thing, and you guys are with men in various capacities. They just tried to fix the problem without listening.
Uh-huh.
where they were just like my one buddy was like, I was like, hey, it could be a bulging disc, and my buddy sent me this long text that was like, hey, like you could be entitled to some compensation because it's like a workplace injury. And I was like, that's not helping. Like I'm having a breakdown. Like I don't need to know about, like we could get some extra cash.
Okay. Well, you do love a lawyer friend, though. You need
It's nice.
sometimes you are entitled to compensation and you may not know about it.
Yeah, it's a mesothelioma kind of deal. Yeah, so sometimes that's nice, but in the moment I was like, you're not helping. And it wasn't good. And then when I told him, I was like, I just need you to ask me if I'm good. Every day I would get that text 2 o'clock. Hey man, you good? And that's all I needed. I just needed you to, I'm thinking about you. I don't need more information. You know those people that just like want more information. They don't feel like they're like helping. They're just like, ooh, but what's going on? Why is she still there? Blah, blah, blah. That kind of stuff I didn't like.
Yeah, sometimes it is important as a friend just to affirm another friend, and I think some people end up from their own conditioning going into, problem solving or blaming or, jokes. That's my move. How's your mom? Right? Because we know she's bad.
Yeah.
That's not
Well, it's
helpful.
also people also, I think I used to do this, but I found out it's not great, is you share your story and then I feel like I'm relating to you and then I'm sharing a story that's similar to that. And for some reason, when what that does, it kind of takes away from your moment. And now we're talking about my moment.
Mhm.
Yes, I love to do that too. I'm like, let's bring it back around to me.
Yeah.
Because I've actually felt the same thing.
Yes.
It was like
That's
when
it.
I have a friend who we will be having on the podcast soon who's experiencing some health issues. She has cancer and she had to shave her head, and I said, I'm going to shave my head in solidarity, and she said, no, that's not necessary. And I thought, how am I going to make this about me? I'm not even allowed to also shave my head.
Yeah, that's real.
Why be there? Yeah. So it was nice to hear that I think some people are just clueless.
Yeah,
about
especially some people called men.
Yeah, I'm just being nice.
Yeah, I was wondering, you did answer my question, but I was guessing from the fact that you said your friends were idiots that they were men. That was my first guess.
Yeah, they're all men.
Mhm.
They're all men from high school, and none of them have kids, and they're all kind of like we hang out twice a month and we order a bunch of food and we like dick around. Like that's our vibe.
Wow. That's even a lot for me, I think, hanging out with
Same.
friends twice a month. So that's great.
Yeah, I get mad at them sometimes because they'll have a group text and they'll be like, Gabe's doing shows, we shouldn't even invite him. And I'm like, no, include me in the text. Because they're out on Long Island, so like they can see each other more than I can see them, I guess.
Yeah, you just
Okay.
want to be included. I remember Joe had well, they don't listen, but his family went to Jimmy Buffett and they didn't invite him and he got his feelings hurt. But I was like, but you don't live in Boston.
Sure.
Yeah.
So what? I don't. Yeah.
Sometimes with family and friend stuff, I just find that I internalize everything and I am triggered. It's not even them not inviting me. I'm like, one time I saw my dad giving my brother a piece of chocolate because he took medicine, and then he was allowed to have a piece of chocolate, but I wasn't given a piece of chocolate.
Yeah.
I was laying down in my bed. I got up to go downstairs and I saw my dad giving my brother chocolate, and it wasn't me.
Yeah.
And it
hurts.
comes up a lot. Now, Gabe, have you ever had a situation in which you have been the bad friend? I'd love to get a peek behind the curtain about some awful things that you've done.
Yeah, Katie and I just admitted our bad friend situations that we've done in the past. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I've been a bad friend. It's actually probably an ingredient that's missing from the show. Sometimes we get to the end of the show, I'm like, oh, I should probably have admitted more bad things about me and not just other people that I have problems with.
Yeah, we call it being vulnerable, but we're actually just telling our horrific behavior.
I had a friend in college who was my RA. And one day I was just like, I really valued him. And I was like, yeah, man, like I'll buy your lunch. Like I gotcha. And then like 3 days later, like there was a party in my dorm and like people ended up in my room, and he had to come in there and be like, did you just buy me lunch so you could party in your room without me telling on you, and I felt
Mm.
so bad because it was like kind of a coincidence. Like I just like was an idiot. It was more negligence. I feel like the times that I'm like really shitty, it's a lot of times it's just negligence, like just thinking about myself. So at least
Yeah.
like when my buddy Nick like didn't know how to handle, his name is in the show, I can say it. When my buddy Nick didn't know how to handle my mom getting sick, at least he was trying to be a good friend. Like I was just like not thinking about you at all.
Yeah, selfishness. We
Yeah.
all do it.
It's a lot of work to not be selfish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
It
sometimes
really
you just want
is.
to.
Yeah.
Just let it be about me today. That's me in my relationship every night. I'm like, I want to go to dinner. Now, is your mom okay, Gabe?
Yes,
Did she get
yes,
better?
she's doing so well. She's back at work. She's doing so well. Which again, I say like 15 times in the show because I kept starting the show being like, my mom got sick and I don't have friends. And then at the end, people would be like, wait, your mom? And I'd be like, oh, I should clarify.
Yeah.
I just haven't figured out how to do that on podcasts yet. But yeah, Joy is doing great. She came to the show twice. She's a crazy
shout
person.
out.
Yeah.
I love that as a reveal at the end. And here she is.
Yeah. People because those people show up like, and people are like, is this the real Nick? Like, I gotta meet him.
Now,
Yeah.
what did you learn about friendship through this whole journey?
I think a lot of it, and I touched on this before, but it really is a thing that I value in such a new way, is that the show kind of has this this character Tom, who was my best friend, and we get into this love triangle, and Tom and I were kind of like soulmates. Like I kind of do the show as if we're like it's a rom-com almost, where it's like I fell in love with this guy Tom, and then he kind of breaks my heart. And Tom like would have known if mom got sick, he would have known exactly what to say. He would have like pulled all the right strings. He would have like been ideal. And Nick like wasn't at all, but like Nick shows up when I need him. And like this idea of like your friends show up and they have a way of kind of like entering your life just at the moment you need them, even if they're like tripping over stuff as they come. That's especially with dudes, that's a thing that I value.
Okay, so in rom-com terms, it's better to have like an ugly boyfriend who's there.
Yeah.
Is that right? Than a hot guy who is emotionally unavailable.
What is it's a real thing I've thought about with the show, which is I can't remember the sitcom when they're like, you don't marry best sex of your life guy. You marry guy who shows up guy. I can't remember which. It might be Friends.
Right. Otherwise, you're gonna be just at the hospital from that great sex.
Yeah, from fucking Tom. And listen, who has the time?
Now, I'm interested in this love triangle.
I know. You keep like you say love triangle, and I'm just like, I gotta get into this.
Yeah, you're dangling it, naughty man.
I hope you don't brush over this love triangle in the show.
It takes 40 minutes to really do it justice.
Wow.
Is there sex involved?
Yeah, there's always sex. There's always lies.
Okay, gotcha.
Sometimes there's videotape. I mean, it's really
is it
intense.
You, a friend, and a girl?
It's me. It's best friend introduces me to girl and I date. I move to Europe. We're still dating. We break up. Tom flies to Europe and tells me what's going on between them. Is kind of like the climax of the show.
Wow. Wow. Oh my gosh. This is so juicy.
I'll tell you what, I did Jared Freed's podcast and a lot of 24-year-old women showed up and they had fun, but I'm like a 28 to 32-year-old woman kind of comic.
They'll get
That's
there.
my sweet spot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying like, or even honestly, I had a great conversation with like a 54-year-old woman the other night. I was like, you're my person. This is who this show is for.
So the show is for women.
The show, absolutely. When there's women on the show, I'm like, great.
That's interesting. I was thinking because since you were focusing kind of on the male friendship, that the show is more for men.
It would be if they came.
Okay.
Do you think
men are doing basketball games?
Yeah. Not going to one woman shows.
Yeah. They're not coming to my one woman show. And maybe I should call it a one man show and we'll try to get the men out. My dad's did something so funny. There was a big horse race last weekend, and my dad works in horse racing. And he was like, "Oh, your crowds are going to get a lot bigger once those horse races are over." I was like, "Who do you think comes to these shows?"
Oh,
I
bless their
love
heart.
that comedy is just competing with the horse racing world.
Truly made me laugh so
It's
hard.
either Gabe Mollica or Old Silver.
Yeah. I just couldn't pick.
Now, Gabe, where can people see your show? Well, tell us the scoop. How can we find out about it?
Yeah. So we just got extended, and I know this will come out in December. So we added a week, which is so exciting, into November 19th. But then I'm taking it on the road. I'm going to Boston. I'm going to Chicago. I'm going to LA and Denver and Rochester. And all that stuff is in my Instagram.
Great. And what is that?
What was that?
What's your Instagram?
Oh, at Gabe Mollica.
Great.
Yeah.
So check out at Gabe Mollica if you're in Chicago. I can't remember the other
Boston.
ones.
Some of the
Denver,
other ones.
San Francisco.
Yeah.
I'm gonna name the LA.
Yeah.
the West Coast, the West, the Midwest.